Hey everyone, welcome. So, right now, artificial intelligence is the topic on every business owner's mind. But what does it really mean for you and your business? In this explainer, we're going to cut through all that hype and build a real practical AI strategy specifically for Utah's small and medium sized businesses. Let's get right into it. The whole conversation around AI is this crazy mix of excitement and honestly a lot of confusion, right? You hear about these massive breakthroughs, but it's just so hard to tell what's hype and what's a genuine opportunity. So that's what we're going to do first. Let's unpack that. And this really is the big question, isn't it? When you hear AI, what's your first thought? Do you immediately think of some huge budget-destroying project? Or do you see it as a powerful tool that could give you that crucial competitive edge? Well, as you're about to see, the answer really depends on your approach. Okay, let's just tackle the biggest fears head on. The worry is always about sky-high costs, this massive, complex overhaul of your business, and needing a whole team of tech wizards. But the reality of AI today, it's a completely different story. We're talking about affordable subscriptions, not huge upfront payments. We're talking about small, focused wins, not tearing down your whole business to rebuild it. The tools are just so much more accessible than you think. Now, part of that reality check also means we have to talk about compliance. As we start using these incredible tools, we've got to stay on top of the rules. Data privacy laws are always evolving, both here in Utah and at the national level. And things like ethical practices and being transparent, these are absolutely crucial parts of any responsible AI strategy. So, if a giant, expensive overhaul isn't the way to go, what is? Well, that brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer. The small wins strategy. It's an approach that's all about getting you started quickly and effectively, without all that overwhelming complexity. And here it is. This is probably the most important mindset shift you can make. The secret to actually succeeding with AI isn't some huge multi-year project that disrupts everything you do. Honestly, that's just the old way of thinking. Instead, it's about two things. First, having absolute clarity on what you want to achieve. And second, just relentlessly going after small, fast, manageable victories. This is how you build momentum. This is how you prove the value. And this is how you get your whole team excited about what's coming next. So what do these small wins actually look like in the real world? Well, we're talking about really tangible improvements. For example, you could set up an AI chatbot to handle all those common customer questions, which frees up your team's time. Or you could automate those boring routine tasks like invoicing or staff scheduling. Or maybe you could finally use some simple AI analytics to make sense of your sales data. Each one of those is a focused, high-impact win. Okay, so the small wins idea makes a lot of sense. But how do you actually do it? That brings us to the roadmap, a really practical, step-by-step plan to make it happen. Here's the plan in 6 steps. You've got to start with assessment, right? Because you can't figure out where you're going until you know where you are now. From there, you build a roadmap and pick the right tools for the job. Then, and this is key, you do a gradual implementation and make sure you've got good training to get your team ready. And finally, you have to measure the ROI to prove it's actually working and to figure out what to do next. It's a simple, repeatable cycle. Now, this all sounds great in theory, but does it really work? Yes, absolutely. And we've got the proof. Let's look at some real stories from small and medium-sized businesses right here in Utah who are already seeing some incredible results. Okay, for our first example, picture a boutique fashion retailer. They decided to focus on just one small win. They wanted to improve their online shopping experience. So they integrated an AI-powered recommendation engine right into their website. And the result? A 25% jump in online sales. Just think about that. One focused, small win project led directly to some serious growth. That's the power of starting with a clear, targeted goal. All right, now let's switch gears completely. Next up, we've got a local manufacturing firm. Their big headache was machine downtime. It just kills productivity and profits. So they brought in an AI solution for predictive maintenance to see problems coming before they could happen. And the outcome? A 30% reduction in machine downtime. This is a perfect example of how AI isn't just for sales and marketing. It can create massive efficiencies right at the core of your operations, saving you so much time and money. And for our last example, let's look at a small restaurant. Anyone in the service industry knows that managing staff schedules and keeping labor costs in check is a constant battle. So they adopted an AI tool specifically for that task.
By optimizing their schedules, they got a 15% reduction in labor costs, all while keeping their service quality high. So you see, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, there is a small win that AI can help you get.
So, we've covered the strategy, we've walked through the roadmap, and we've seen the real-world proof. Now, let's bring it all home and talk about your actionable first steps, how you can turn this plan into reality for your business. So, what are the big takeaways here? Look, it all comes down to being deliberate. First, assess your business to find that perfect starting point. Then, start small with one single focused project. Always stay informed on the rules and laws, and make sure you set clear objectives so you actually know what success looks like. And hey, remember, you don't have to do this all alone. Consult an expert when you need some tailored advice. You know, when you boil it all down, it comes back to this one powerful idea. Start with accessible tech that shows immediate benefits. Because when you do that, you get that quick buy-in from your team, and you build the exact momentum you need for those bigger projects down the line. So, I'm going to leave you with this one final thought. Just for a moment, forget all the hype, forget the huge, complicated projects. Just think about your day-to-day work. What is the one task, that one bottleneck, that a smart, focused AI tool could simplify for your business starting tomorrow? Answering that question, that's the first step on your journey.